Hi, my name is Sydney Paulus, and I'm going to teach you how to use the quadratic formula to solve for the roots of a quadratic equation. Our learning target is today I will solve a quadratic equation for the roots by using the quadratic formula. You need to know how to do this because if you can't complete the square or factor, then this is your next option. It's also really easy and convenient to use. Before we can start, you have to know the quadratic formula, which is negative b plus or minus b squared minus 4 times a times c all over 2a. And our general form equation, which you also need to know, is ax squared plus bx plus c. Also, you might need to know how to simplify a radical if it isn't a perfect square, but in our examples, you're not going to need to know how to do that. If my video makes no sense to you, you can look on Miss Logan's website, which has tons of resources, or Khan Academy, which makes great math videos. So our starting equation that we are going to solve is x squared plus 4x plus 3 equals 0. Setting your equation to 0 is just like setting it to y. It's just easier to solve. So we're going to need to change this equation to the quadratic formula. To do that, our first step is finding the values of a, b, and c. So to do that, we need to look back at this. So this is a, this is b, and this is c. Knowing that, you can find that the a value is 1, the b value is 4, and the c value is 3. Now that we have those, we can enter these into the quadratic formula. So what that will look like is negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 4 squared minus 4 times 1 times 3 all over 2 times 1. Now what we can do is solve the discriminant, which is everything under the square root sign. So what we do is 4 squared minus 4 times 1 times 3. So our first step is 4 times 4 is 16. Negative 4 times 1 is negative 4, and you rewrite the 3. So 16, negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. 16 minus 12 is 4. Now that we have that, we can rewrite 4 back into the discriminant spot. So that's going to look like negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 4 all over 2 times 1 is just 2. So now, since 4 is a perfect square, we can simplify it further. So negative 4 plus or minus 2 over 2. Now, to find our final answers, we have to add and subtract since there are two answers. So negative 4 plus 2 equals negative 2, and you have to add the denominator in there. So negative 2 divided by 2 is negative 1. Negative 4 minus 2 equals negative 6 over 2 equals negative 3. So our roots are negative 1 and negative 3. That is the final answer for this. So our next equation is x squared plus 2x minus 8 equals 0. Again, we need to find the a, b, and c values. So we'd use the same thing. So a again is 1, b is 2, and c is negative 8. Now that we have those, we can enter them back into the quadratic formula just like last time. So negative 2 plus or minus square root of b squared. So 2 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 8 all over 2 times 1. Now that we have that, we can solve the discriminant, which again is everything under the square roots. So we can do 2 squared minus 4 times 1 times negative 8. So that's going to be 2 times 2 is 4, negative 4 times 1 is negative 4, and then rewrite negative 8. So 4, a negative times negative is positive, so 4 plus 4 times 8 is 32. 4 plus 32 is 36. Now we can rewrite that into the discriminant spots. So negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 36 over 2 times 1 is just 2. Now we can simplify it further. So negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 36 is 6 over 2. Now what we have to do again is to simplify it more, since there are two answers, because it can be negative or positive. So negative 2 plus 6 equals negative 4 divided by 2 equals negative 2. Now we can do negative 2 minus 6 equals negative 8 divided by 2 equals negative 4. And our roots are negative 2 and negative 4. That is the final answer. So you should now know, or you should hopefully know, how to solve a quadratic equation for the roots using the quadratic formula. Thank you for watching.